All rise. The lawyer of the apes is now in session. Wow, guys, it's been fucking forever since I've said that, and I apologize for that. There was so much shit going on Twitter with people saying a lot of nonsense, and it was just getting a little hairy at times, and I just didn't want to deal with it. It was such complete and utter bullshit, but now I'm back with a different mindset. Just going to be pretty much sticking strictly to, making these videos. Maybe I'll do an occasional Twitter space, maybe here or there, to provide some legal information, but trying to stay away from all the drama and all the nonsense on Twitter, which, I mean, it's completely confounding of how much there is. I don't understand it. Everyone is entitled to their opinion. Some people's opinions are, you're not going to agree with them. And in fact, some of the opinions you might hear are completely false. But again, I mean, people are free to say what they want. You don't have to go crazy on them. Just stick to the facts, try to come up with, real, firm, concrete evidence to support your argument. And I'm not talking about screenshots from Reddit or what John 2297 posted on Twitter. I'm talking about legitimate resources, right? Legitimate government resources, legitimate .edus, .com websites or wherever you're getting information from. This goes back to 20 years ago when my college professors used to tell me that those are bullshit sources. You have to just be careful where you're getting your information from, and also how you communicate that to other people. There's a way to communicate to people telling them they're wrong without causing a fight. So anyway, I digress. I'm out of that nonsense. I'm not about any of that. I am gonna try to state, like I said, everything I set forth in my videos, it comes from, legitimate sources, and it's based upon real experience, 20 years experience in the legal field. So this is Apeisode 17. I'm a little bit behind on everything I wanted to talk about because of what happened, but I just want to say that I'm going to catch up on all the old stuff, but since this is the most pressing issue, right? We're coming up now 2 days away from this date that I keep seeing on Twitter, December 17th, 2021, right? And how does this relate to, NSCC 2021-010, which I had done a previous video on before I left. So let's just take a quick look again, right? What NSCC 2021-010. Now, remember what happened was with this rule, they had instituted proceedings to take comments, and part of that included, the idea that the agency has to set forth when they're implementing proceedings, right? The reasons why they're considering denying the implementation of this rule. They are not setting. They don't have to say why they believe they may approve it. They have to show the reasons why they may be denying it and let people comment on it and say why they're wrong about that. And then they give people an opportunity to rebut that evidence, right? So the initial comments were due December 3rd, 2021. And then the rebuttal comments to those comments are due by December 17th, 2021, which is 2 days away. 2 days. And everyone's excited about that. December 17th, 2021, something's going to happen. Probably not. I'm going to be completely honest. I don't say things for clicks or video views or whatever. I say things to provide legitimate information. That is not an accurate statement. The rule is doesn't say anything here, right? But you have to go back and look, right, into the US Code, 15 US Code, Section 78S, registration, responsibilities, oversight of self-regulatory agencies. So the self-regulatory agency that's trying to approve this rule, there's a procedure in place, right, which we had gone over in a previous video. If they're going to implement rule changes, the approval process, the initial extension of time, the order of approval, standards of approval, results if they don't do it, publication in the registry, et cetera, and so forth. We went through a lot of this in a previous video, but I want to show you guys the reason why it's unlikely that you're going to see anything happen on Friday. And this comes right from the rules. Everything is very, very, it's confusing. It's a statute, so there's never going to, it's always going to be a little confusing. So I understand why some people might think that it's going to, something's going to take place on Friday, but there is really nothing within this rule that would lead me to believe that anything is going to happen on Friday. We're probably looking at, not that much more time, but at least some amount of time ahead of us before we're going to see any type of actual change. So what happened, right? The first step was the approval process. It didn't get approved, right? They kicked the can, but what they did was they opened up proceedings, right? That's where we are now. They opened up proceedings, and that's the process going on now. So they initiated the proceedings and they stated, notice of hearing, if the commission does not approve or disapprove a rule change under paragraph A, the commission shall provide the self-regulatory organization that filed the proposed rule change notice of the grounds for disapproval, which we went over. They set forth the 3 reasons why it was likely that it was going to be disapproved, right? And then number 2, opportunity for hearing to be concluded no later than 180 days after the publication of the notice of the filing of the proposed rule change. All right, so let's go back a second, right? We have to go back and look. When was it originally published? In the Federal Register. So in July, it was filed, but then it wasn't put into the register until August 12th, 2021. All right, so that's the date we have to go off. So August 12th, 2021. So they say that they have to issue the proceedings within 120 days after date of publication. So what's 120 days? August, September, October, November, December, January, February 12th, 2021. So February 12th, 2021, they had to implement the proceedings, which they did, right? The proceedings are going to be concluded, right, by December 17th. That's when all the evidence is going to be submitted. They're within the time frame. But then here, let's take a look here. Order of approval or disapproval. Remember, this is section 2, right? To this section, proceedings. So here's the first step, and then here's the second step, order of approval or disapproval. So this here, I'm going to read it to you, does not say that any decision is going to be made tomorrow. In fact, it says the complete opposite of that. And it makes sense if you think about it. It's just common sense, guys. All of this information, all of these, this evidence and the rebuttal evidence were just submitted, and it's going to all be finally concluded on the 17th. It would make zero sense for them to issue an approval or denial that day. They haven't had any time to read all the information, including the information that may have come out or was uploaded on the actual December 17th. So let's clear our heads, and realize that December 17th is not the day, right? Nothing is going to happen on December 17th. But when can we expect something to happen? In general, except as provided in subclause 2, which is here, if they ask for an extension, no later than 120 days after the publication of the paragraph 1, the commission shall issue an order approving or disapproving the rule change. So now that they have all the information, the proceedings have been completed, what is the drop dead date for them to, well, not the drop dead date, because they can ask for an extension, but let's say there's no extension request put in. What's the drop dead date? We're looking at 180 days from August 12th, 2021, which is approximately, as I said before, August, September, October, November, December, January, February 12th, 2021. February 12th, 2021 is the approximate date, because it's 180 days. Some days have 30, some months have 30, some months have 31 days. So it could be off by a day or two. So that's the drop dead date, right? Unless they ask for an extension. The commission may extend the period to issue the order under clause 1 by no more than 60 days if the commission determines that a longer period is appropriate, or the organization has filed the proceedings consents to a longer period. So it's still possible that they can kick the can down the road by an additional 60 days on top of the 180 days. So we're looking at August to February, right? The initial 180 day, February, then another 2 months after that, another 60 days, February, March, April 12th, 2021. So the absolute positively drop dead date would be somewhere around April 12th if they ask for an extension. If they don't ask for an extension, the decision has to be made, can be made up to February 12th, about February 12th, 2021. Now, these are not the exact dates. It could be anytime in that period. So it could be from anytime between December 17th to February 12th, 2021, or if they extend it, December 17th all the way to April 12th of 2021. So that's what we're looking at, guys. So we're not looking at anything happening tomorrow or Friday. That's not going to happen. So we are going to have to see what they do. It could be any time between these timeframes. So we're looking at a pretty broad period, right? You're looking at either something happening between December 17th and February 12th, right? And at that point, they can either approve it, disapprove it, or they can ask for the extension. And if they ask for the extension, then they got another 60 days from there. So, and they can wait all the way up until the last day, right, of that period and say, oh, we want the 60-day extension, thereby giving them all the time in the world if they want it. So the reality is, you know, temper your expectations. There's not going to be any decision on December 17th. And I just wanted to give it to you guys clear cut, and, you know, by citing to the actual statutory authority that clearly says what the timeframes are. And then based upon, of course, this date, which is when it was filed in the Federal Register. So that's the video, first video back. You know, I'm sure it's going to be disappointing to some people, but that's the reality for the December 17th date that is floating around. And I'm sure other videos are going to be popping up about it, or they may already be out there. I really don't keep up anymore. But if anyone has any questions, feel free to drop it in the comments or reach out to me on Twitter only about this. Don't send me messages asking for legal advice for personal situations. I can't help you with that. This is just general commentary, not legal advice. I don't have any attorney-client relationship with anybody. So anyway, guys, it's good to be back. Looking forward to getting a lot more videos out, you know, going forward. And until then, you guys haven't heard this in a while. The Lawyer of the Apes is adjourned.